Hey everybody, it's Samantha. I'm back again. It seems like I'm doing these about every 6 weeks or so at this point. I don't think that I can commit to every month, but I think I'm just gonna stop saying how often I'm gonna do these at this point because it's never coming out to exactly when I say it's gonna be. So, you know, I'll just come on here and talk about what's been going on when I have a chance to. I left off at the end of September, kind of midway, end of September time period, and at that point in time, I was in the middle of a couple of different things and really looking forward to the month of October so that I could get into fall knitting. So let's talk about some finished objects. And one of the finished objects is the item that I am wearing today. This is my finished Ooey Gooey sweater. It is an amazing circular yoke pattern from Andrea Mowry, and I made mine out of Spincycle, and this is dyed in the wool, I think it is. Whichever one's the sport weight one. I always get the two of them confused. But the colorways stay ready, and it is the browns and grays and tans and cream color. A little bit of like charcoal going into almost black. Really love this colorway. And then the teal color is Circulo Veluna in the colorway Devotion. I absolutely love this yarn. It is so soft and squishy. It is 100% merino. So that does mean that it's pilling a little bit. I wore this to school and I have to wear a lanyard with my ID and my keys and all of that. And so I do have a little bit of pilling that has already happened. So I've had to do a little bit of trimming on my sweater, but otherwise I absolutely love it. Couple of modifications that I made on my sweater. I did add a lot of inches to this. I ended up ripping back several times because I would start the ribbing and I would get through and I would try it on knowing, I know with blocking it grows. I totally get that. But even with blocking, it wasn't going to grow to a place where I thought it would look good on me when it comes to where the hem lies. So I tore it out 3 times trying to get it to a length that I wanted. So I added probably about, I think it's about 6, maybe even 7 inches to the body, which when you look at it, that feels kind of crazy. I've got a feeling that Andrea Mowry's torso is super short because her cropped top sweaters are super cropped on me, super cropped. And it's not anything that I'm ever going to wear cropped, just not comfortable in that kind of outfit. So that was modification number 1. Modification number 2, I opted for not putting the color work on the sleeves. I really thought about doing it, and when it came down to it, I really wanted to get this done because my friend Tyler was going to Rhinebeck to the New York Sheep and Wool, and she was going to the meetup on the hill for Andrea Mowry for her Rhinebeck sweater, which was the Ooey Gooey. And I really needed to get the picture in to Tyler because Tyler had this plan of while she was on the hill at the meetup, she was going to show my picture on her phone. She was going to hold it up. So she did do that. I will put the picture here. And I was really, really close to finishing. So I just decided to power through without the color work on the sleeves. I didn't miss them. I will be honest, I actually prefer it without the color work. I was already kind of on the fence on doing the welts on the sleeves themselves because I just felt like that would leave a bump and that would be hitting my wrist whenever I was like typing or doing anything. And so I just decided not for me. And I'm really happy that I didn't do that. So let me stand up and let you guys see kind of the finished product. So here we go. Like I said, I added a good deal of length to this sweater. Had I left it to where it was supposed to be cropped, the end with the hem would have been right about here, which for me, I like my jeans to sit right about here. You can kind of see where that's located. And so it would have left a lot of skin. I don't wear a whole lot of like dresses and things, so putting it over dress wouldn't have been so great for me. So it probably would have ended here, and I needed a whole lot more. I also did not do the full amount of ribbing that it showed on there. It just seemed like a lot of ribbing. So I did about 1.5 inches, probably about halfway through the ribbing. But I do absolutely love the way that this came out. I just wish that this yarn didn't pill as much as it did. It just means that I'm gonna have a little more upkeep for it, but that's totally okay. For this gorgeous soft sweater, totally will do that. So this is the Ooey Gooey by Andrea Mowry, and it is absolutely amazing. All right, so I did not talk about this next finished object in my last video, and that's because I wasn't planning on starting it just yet. For the last couple of months, I have been kind of gathering up the skeins of yarn at my local yarn store as part of me preparing for this specific sweater. And lo and behold, it is another Andrea Mowry pattern and another Rhinebeck sweater. It's just last year's pattern. I have been wanting to make a framed sweater since I saw it last year, but I've had so many other things going on, I really didn't have the time to do it. And so after doing the Ooey Gooey, I decided, let's do the framed sweater. And so I have been gathering up skeins of yarn from my local yarn store, Crafty Studios in Cypress, Texas, over about a 1.5-month period. The framed calls for 3 different colors of yarn, and they are in worsted weight. So I decided to use Cascade 220, and I got Cascade 220 non-superwash for my solid colors. And then my yarn store, Crafty, carries Cascade 220 Wave in a superwash. And so I just went ahead with the superwash. And so over the 1.5 months, I spent gathering up the different colors, and then I started on it. And my goal was to try to get this done as fast as possible, just to power knit through this sweater as fast as I possibly could and try to keep track of it as much as I could. To be real, I wanted to do this in 1 week. I didn't quite get there. I actually got this completed in 15 days. So it ended up being a Sunday to Sunday kind of knit. And it turned out beautiful. So let me show you my completed framed sweater in Cascade 220 non-superwash and superwash wave. It's gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. The top color is Bristol blue, and then the cream color is natural, and then the color change for the wave is called spring. So let me try this on and show you what it looks like. Okay, here we are. This is my completed framed sweater. The blue again is Bristol blue. This is from Cascade 220. Natural for the cream, and then the color change is the 220 wave in the color spring. Now I did add 1 extra set of repeats to the bottom to again lengthen Andrea Mowry's pattern, because this was a little bit too cropped for me. I will say I wish I would have gone down 1 more size on this. It is very big. I think honestly, I probably should have gone down a needle size more on my ribbing. I did the requisite 2 sizes down, and it just isn't cinching in at the waist like I would want it to. I could always go in and redo that part, but I don't know that I will. Honestly, I probably will just leave it like it is. If it really starts to bother me, I've got some elastic I can weave through, and I can change the makeup of how much it cinches in if I do that. But right now it's not bothering me enough to fix that. So let me stand up and show you what it looks like. Okay, here it is. Here it is. So you can tell what I'm talking about here with the hem. It is pretty wide on me. Honestly, like if I was to pull this to the side, I've got a lot of ease for this. Kind of wish I would have gone down one more size, and I wish I would have gone down a size in my needles for the ribbing for the hem. I think also on the sleeves, I think it would have made it a little bit nicer looking, but it's fine the way that it is. I did have to do a lot of color management when it came to the yarn, because the Cascade 220 is its own type of barber pooling, and so you're not going to get the exact same effect with every single one. It's not a direct same wave through it, and so there was some color management that I did have to do. If I'm not mistaken, right about here I went, because it is a bottom-up sweater, I think right about here is where things had to shift, and I had to find where there was a color match, close enough color match. And then coming up to about here, if I'm not mistaken, I had to do another one. And up through this part up here, this color work is done flat, which was very different. I do have one mistake that I made that I did not notice until I was done and blocked. And it is not something that I'm going to go back and fix because it is too far gone. Let's see if you can find it. Should be right about here. You should see that there is one row that just looks a little bit iffy. And funny enough, I only did it on that side, and for about this far, I did the rest of the color work perfectly. I don't know what I was thinking during that point, and I don't know why I didn't catch it, but I didn't. And so there's that. So this is my finished framed sweater, and I completed this in 15 days. All right, so that is all I have finished from that time period. So let's talk about spinning. I do have one finished spin that I did. I had talked about it before, where I was in the process of spinning my friend Laura from Steller Needlecraft's yarn, that her fiber that she had before she closed her business. And so I finally finished spinning up that fiber. It was a Corriedale, and I plied it. I did all the steps, and you guys, it is beautiful. It is wonderful. Is it perfect? No, but it almost, I mean, kind of matches what I'm wearing here in the framed. Funny enough. It is more consistent than my last spin, but I love it. So I'm starting to think about what to do with this, kind of leaning towards maybe some kind of like color work hat, or just knitting it up plain and seeing what comes out of it. So really, really excited about that. It did come out to basically a worsted weight for the most part. So you can kind of see here, but I love it. It's so pretty. I have not spun anything else recently. I did get in some spinning fiber that my friend Katie gave me just the other day. She ordered a sample box from, not a sample box, but a sample pack from Golden Hour Knitwear. And it came with a braid of her Philosopher's Blend, which has Tussa silk, it has alpaca, and it is undyed. And so it is gorgeously shiny, and I cannot wait to try that out. I think I'm gonna put it together with my camelids box that I got, my exotics box that I got at DFW back in September. I can't wait to see how that all comes out. So I think I'm gonna put all of that together and just see what I can spin up. So there you go. Let's talk about works in progress. I have not touched the Stromboli at all. It is still sitting right over here on my desk. I have been thinking about doing a row or two here coming up, especially next week is Thanksgiving break. And so I think probably I am going to do like a row or two a day and just see where I get. A little progress is still progress. So I'm gonna do that. I have done a little bit on my socks, my mustache yarn socks, but I am not even to the heel yet. So let me show you where we're at. I have not been working on these much because I have been powering through those sweaters. So I will be getting to these soon, just not there yet. So here we are. I have finished the cuff and I have gotten through, looks like seven of the stripes. So we're getting there. And I still absolutely love the color. I just haven't worked on it. So maybe I will do some of that later this week. We'll see. So there are those. Those are the mustache yarn socks. I have one whip that pretty sure I'm just gonna be tearing out because I am really unhappy. And I noticed that there's been some people online that have felt kind of the same way. I love Stephen West's patterns. I am usually all about Stephen West patterns. His mystery knit along every October is something that I look forward to. And 4 out of the last 5 years, I have done his mystery knit along. There was 1 year I did not. This year, I was super excited. It was the mystery MusiKAL. And so I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be musical. It's gonna be wonderful and amazing. And it started out great. I got through clues 1 and clues 2. And then I saw a spoiler for clue 3 and went, what the heck? Not my jam. And so I was behind on getting the clue 2 done anyway. And so as I continued to work on clue 2, then I saw clue 4 come out. And I saw spoilers. And my brain literally went, this is not for me. This is not something I'm excited about. This is not something I'm gonna wear. I am somebody who enjoys symmetry. It's very rare that I like something that's asymmetrical. Sometimes, but this just was not my jam. And I know that everybody has different preferences, and I'm not gonna yuck someone else's yum. If you loved it, I love that for you. I do. I did not love it for me. And it felt like working through it was going to be a waste of time for me. So I just stopped working on it. So it's been sitting here now for pretty much a month. Pretty much. I don't know if I'm going to try to rip it out or if I am going to just cut my losses from here, but that's where I ended. You can see I was in the middle of 2 and Just, it was so pretty to start. So, yeah, I mean, it's still pretty here. I mean, maybe I'll hang on to it, and over the holidays, if, you know, a wild hair strikes me or something, I'll finish it up, maybe. But right now, I have zero desire. I don't like what it comes out looking like, and I've gotten to the point in my life where I don't want to work on things that don't bring me joy. So right now, this is not bringing me joy, and I'm not going to work on it. So it's going to kind of just stay there, probably on my desk, until I figure out what I'm going to do with it. I have plenty of yarn left that I could make other things with. So we'll see what happens. Moving on from there, my yarn store, my local yarn store, CrateFallsDesigns. A lot of the ladies that I knit with, they decided that they all wanted to do the same pattern sweater, but they didn't want to do it as a knit along because they didn't want deadlines or prizes or anything like that. More so, they wanted it to be like a support group. Just, we're all working at our own pace, and if we have questions or whatever, we can reach out to each other, and just kind of just a friendly way of doing this. More of a support group than it is an actual knit along. So after I finished my framed sweater, I decided to jump in and start working on one myself. And so the pattern that they were all working on is the Monday sweater by PetiteKNit. And I know PetiteKNit gets a kind of a bad rap when it comes to things like size inclusivity and some of the harsh things she said in the past. If it wasn't for my knitting group being the ones that picked this, I probably wouldn't have chosen the pattern just because of that. But I will say that since all of the drama came out about PetiteKNit and size inclusivity and some of the stuff, I will say that she's gotten better about her inclusivity when it comes to her size range. Is it great? No. She's got a ways to go. But she is expanding when it comes to the sizes that she makes in her pattern. So it's movement in the right direction. It does not make up for some of the things that she said at all. So just want to make sure that I preface that. But what I did decide to do is I decided for this pattern I would stash dive. And so I didn't have enough yarn for a DK weight, and I did not want to go out and buy any mohair. And so what I decided to do is I decided to hold fingering double for this whole thing. I don't know if I'm going to have enough yarn. I'm going to be real honest. I'm going to be playing a little bit of yarn chicken. One of the people that is part of our group, one of my friends, Denise, she did a little bit of the yarn calculation based upon the pattern. And I am shy by about 150 yards. But what I will say, for a lot of my recent sweaters, I have been way under when it comes to the amount of yarn that the pattern calls for versus what I used. I've had sometimes a whole skein of yarn left over. So I'm going for it. I may be kicking myself later on. I might, but I'm going for it. And so I am using stash yarn that I have had for probably about 4 or 5 years. This is from Steller Needlecraft. Again, my friend Laura, who is no longer dying. So this yarn is kind of special to me because I can't replace it and I can't add on, which is why I'm doing a little bit of yarn chicken. But I am holding this double throughout the entire thing, and it is in the color Blood Wine. So I am still working on the yoke. I have not yet divided for the sleeves. I'm still working on the raglan increases. I am about, I think, halfway through. But if I was to hold this up here, again, it's going to grow and blocking a little bit, right? But I think we're looking good. It is kind of scrunched up. I've got a little bit to go before the sleeves. So there's that. Here's the back with the short rows. I love the folded neck line. I love that that's done kind of at the beginning like it is, and it's already there. I absolutely love that so far. And I am not even halfway through the 2 balls that I'm working through, and I've got 3 more skeins of this to go. My hope is that I can get most of the way through the yoke and through the body, probably halfway through the body before I have to switch to the other 2 skeins. And then I'm hoping that for the sleeves, it'll be that 5th skein that I will divide it in half, and then I will do 1 sleeve and then I'll do the other and it'll work. That's my goal. If I am starting to play a little bit of yarn chicken, then I will do either half or 3/4 length sleeves to kind of adjust. That's kind of my thought. I am hoping that I don't have it to where I need to do short sleeves. But if I do, I do. We'll see what happens. But I am kind of loving the simplicity of it currently. The yarn is going to make for a really, really nice cozy sweater that's going to be sturdy as well, because this is Steller sock, so it does have that nylon component to it. So it's going to be very sturdy, and I'm enjoying it right now. So we'll see how that goes. I do have my row counter on here from Twice Sheared Sheep. That is helping me keep track of my increases. I know that on every odd row, I am doing my increases. Every even, it's just a straight knit row. And I love the little melody marker because I can mark my 10s. And so it's really helping to keep me on track without having to sit there with my pattern and check off every row. I do really like that. So if you don't already do that, I highly recommend that. But yeah, I'm really like this. I did not do a true gauge swatch. I was a bad girl. I was. And the reason I didn't do that is because I didn't want to waste the yarn, because I'm going to be doing some yarn chicken. So I have measured it, and I am currently right under gauge. And so my thought is, when I block this, it's going to block out, so I should be close to gauge. We'll hope. I don't normally skip the gauge swatching. I usually do gauge swatch. This is my second PetiteKnit pattern, and my first one, my gauge was exactly on with the needles that she called for. So I decided for this one, I would go with what she called for, and I would see where it got me. And so without blocking, I am just under. So I think it'll block a little bit, and I will be right around gauge. We're hoping. If it doesn't work for me, I have nieces that are smaller than me. I will give it to them. So we're going to call it a win either way. Whatever works. So the Monday sweater, PetiteKnit, and Steller Needlecraft Steller sock, and the color is Blood Wine. Other than that, I haven't put much in the charity hat. I need to get that done, so I probably will work on that maybe tonight. And what else? Oh, I love my ChowGoo set. I pretty much only use ChowGoo. I don't think that I have really much of anything else. I think I've given everything else away. Even my DPNs are ChowGoo. But I will say, trying to keep cords and needles together has been a problem. And so a couple of videos back, I had shown this little contraption that I had put these little card sleeves in, and I was using that to hold all my cords. But carrying that plus this around, that's a lot. And so I saw somebody on TikTok do something that was kind of an aha moment, and it was kind of combining what I was doing with that binder into my ChowGoo case, and it worked out really, really well. So I figured I would show you guys what I did. I'm pretty sure that what I bought over there was A6 size, and so I bought A5, so it was like one step down. I bought some new ones that have a zipper top to them. They're 2 per sleeve with a zipper top. And so I moved all of my labels to here. Some of them I had to cut down, but they've got the zipper top to keep it all in. And so I think the pack that I got was 10 total sleeves, which is enough for all of the different ones that I have labeled. You'll notice I've got some that have a missing. That's because I don't have that size. I just don't have it purchased, but I plan on it. And so you can see it goes all the way through. And then I had one extra one, and so I've got my little end stoppers and keys that I'm putting in there. And the way that I've got this in here is I am using light bulb stitch markers. Oops, I'm dropping needles. I'll get them in a minute. Let me just hold this so that it doesn't happen again. So these light bulb stitch markers, I put them through the little middle section. There's a little piece of fabric that's in between. Let me see if you can see it. So there's a little piece of fabric that is in between in the middle where this binder comes together. And so I just use these light bulb stitch markers. You can kind of see them right there. They're just in place right there. And so they fit absolutely perfectly inside. I will say that when I go to zip it, it does, when I get to the last side, the third side, I do have to like push it in a little bit, but otherwise they fit really well. The other thing that I was keeping inside of this was my shorties, my small shorties. And so those just fit in really well into the zipper pocket up front here. I am kind of thinking that when I get the blue case, which that is what I want for Christmas this year, I want the larger sizes. I think that will also fit in there pretty well. So I will keep all of my needles all together. I just really wish that ChowGoo had a better looking case. I mean, it's fine, but all of the other needle manufacturers like Lika and the rest, they have such pretty cases. I don't want to go away from the needles that I love, that I prefer. And so I've kind of thought about getting the Thread and Maple binder, but that thing is huge. It is gigantic. And I don't want something bigger. I want something that looks nicer. So I have yet to find the perfect thing for it. But in the meantime, this is as close as it gets. I just really wish the ChowGoo would get on the bandwagon of having the nicer case. That would be awesome if they would do that. Other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've acquired over the last month and a half. I did buy a skein of yarn at CrateFallsDesigns. I bought from Arcane Fiberworks this skein called My Happy Place. I did buy that. This was on sale because she's moving some, Grace, the store owner, is moving some things out of the store. And so I figured that this would make a nice, just neutral pair of socks. So kind of wanting to cast those on, just not yet. And then again, my friend Laura, Steller Needlecraft, she's been getting rid of inventory and she has some samples. And so I purchased a bag of her samples from her for pretty cheap. One of them's a little bit of sparkle to it. This one is a high twist BFL up here. And then there was, what is the other one? I figured this could be for something like color work. Let's see. This one is just a Superwash DK, it looks like. Yeah, just a Superwash DK. So, I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I figured having some undyed yarn is not going to hurt anything. I might be able to use it for some color work or something at some point. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll take a dyeing class at some point and maybe I'll dye some yarn up myself. Who knows? But I did get that. Other than that, I think that's all I've got. I feel like I did a good job. I got through 2 sweaters in that period of time and almost to a halfway point on a 3rd sweater. That's a lot. So hopefully I will get back and record another video maybe around Christmas time. We'll see. We'll see. So until next time, bye.